What's going on, Terrence?
How you doing, Terrence? How you guys doing tonight? We are bringing another lovely Fathers and Finance show to you guys today. This evening, we'll be discussing Black Wall Street and the impacts it has on today, and as well as when everything was going on back when it has started. As you guys know, well, if you don't know, Black Wall Street was one of the most affluent Black communities back in the time that it was, created and everything. It was originated by two guys, but the first guy, Mr. Ottawa W. Gurley, he, aka OW, he didn't. He met up with. He was an educator, Black educator, businessman, and he partnered with the guy. He actually moved from Arkansas, and to Oklahoma, to Perry, Oklahoma, and he met up with the guy named JB or John the Baptist, aka JB, and these guys went by their initials to kind of stay away from being taken or getting because the racial tension was strong back then, but they that was a silent protest for them, so they won't be disrespected by the white man. You know what I mean? JB and OW. And see, they used to call back then black guys, they were called by their surnames, and for the most part, the boys were called by their first name. So that's why they didn't want to get called by their first names, and they went with their initials to kind of kind of ease past that as much as possible. But they joined together, and they wanted to create a community within the Black people to really stay within, to help each other out and stay within the parameters of ourselves, because they were, it was so much going on with, us just being racially, attacked and all of that craziness with, that comes with the white people. And, back then when they were really, really just lynching and all of that insane stuff. So they started Black Wall Street, which was Greenwood District. Both the guys wanted to create a Black district, an all Black district. And I'm talking like everything to really operate a community we had in Black Wall Street. And it was, from, libraries, schools to banks, you know what I mean? Hotels, so everything for not so much a Black, but everything for a community to function and not have to leave outside of that.
So you must be excited, brother, because you didn't introduce me or Patrick at all. We've been going for a good 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I am.
I'm like, man, this must be the market show. I thought it was.
I was gonna let him do it, Isaac. I was gonna let him do it.
Trevor, I was gonna let him do it. Y'all, my bad. Look, I got my two of my three horsemen with me, Patrick Graves and Isaac Crumley. I'm sorry, fellas, for the misintroduction. Yeah, I definitely was ready to dive in, but yeah, man, it was powerful for these two guys to really have that, like mind with, just building that community ship and just thriving within themselves. And of course, our counterparts ain't like that.
Well, don't forget, brother, we gotta, first of all, my name is Isaac, and welcome everybody to Fathers and Finances. We will have the fourth horseman on a little later on. That's Trevor Evans. He had a little traveling problem, so he should be on here shortly. But one of the things we don't want to forget that the Native Americans helped us with that part of the land. We were in the northeast part of Tulsa, and we were actually benefited by segregation back then because we didn't have any other choice. And we had people who had enough mindset to say, all right, look, we've got to take care of ourselves, hence the two brothers that you had. But the Native Americans during this time, they had actually purchased, some of them had actually purchased slaves in order to became slave owning Native Americans in order to protect them. And at the moment that they could give them freedom, they gave them freedom as well as giving them land. And so this land that Black Tulsa settled on was originally part of Native American land. And they were like, listen, here, take this for yourself. Because clearly white people were getting ready to take it all anyway with their failed treaties and things of that nature. So then you have these two gentlemen, of course, that have stepped in to do that. But one of the things that I want to address, man, we want to come from the beginning. We want to go into the middle of it. We want to talk about the wealth of Black Wall Street, number one. We want to talk about what happened and what led up to Wall Street actually happening. And then, of course, number three, what's going on now? And I hope that I saw it on the news yesterday. So Tanisha, if you wouldn't mind emailing me something or texting me, we've got some stuff going on here in Atlanta and DeKalb County in particular to do that. I don't know all the particulars on it, but I certainly hope to have the particulars before the end of the show tonight. So real quick, I know, Marcus, you went into it a little bit. Patrick, tell me what you know about the history, man. Just before we started doing this, tell me what you know.
All right, so
or what you knew.
What did I know before I did research and what I've heard from grandparents? It was, and I actually have a sweater that has Black Wall Street on it. And it, like, I've never seen it before, but I actually got a gift. How you doing, Miss Delita? But from my knowledge and what was the story was told to me was that Black Wall Street was like White Wall Street. It had entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs back in the day. This was around 1921 is the anniversary, the 100th anniversary before the massacre of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And pretty much it was a town. Greenwood was a town, a self-sufficient town of Black people that just was economically very savvy at that time and used the, like you said, the discrimination and the segregation to provide for themselves. So in that community, the dollar circulated for about 35 days before it actually left that community. And
awesome.
if you look at what's going on in today's, our dollar in our community stays in it for about 6 hours. So you got to think about how that money circulated for 35 days. That's over a month, a month and 5 days, almost a month and a week that dollar stayed in that community before it left the community. So there was a lot of rich people back in that time, and it pissed off a lot of people, which caused the in that time, and you know how our country is set up. So it caused a lot of animosity and jealousy as far as seeing Black people coming from being slaves to millionaires, shipping in luxury cars from out of the country to building big buildings and having nice architectural like symbols in the city. So they definitely went ham on the city. They dropped bombs. There's stories that tell you, and I was reading an article of a survivor, right? And they talked about how the people were calling for help, calling for help as far as the government to come help them. And when they seen the planes going over, they thought like, wow, finally some help had came. And then, bombs were dropped on top of them. So it's definitely a tragic story. But the reason for our show today is to, look back at that and understand about what we're doing now to re-engage ourselves in that way economically and put ourselves even at an even place within the economy and with the other races in this economy.
Well, brother, you said a lot, man, because one thing that I certainly want to bring up, you talked about the unity and what we were able to do. And you brought up something very key, which is the dollar circulating. You said it circulated a total of 35 days. And here, you know, with Black people in America, our dollar circulates six hours.
Right.
You know, barely it leaves our hands, you know, almost immediately the moment we get it. And, you know, if we don't make any steps, of course, to change that, you know, we're not closing any type of wealth gap. But, you know, the thing that is so crazy that still in some white people's that mindset today is that lack of wanting to see other people to go forward. I don't know about you guys. So this happens to me all the time. All right. You're driving on the road and you got your cruise control set at 75. And there's some white guy got his cruise control set at 60. And the moment you pass it, he speeds up because he doesn't want you to get past him. I've had people tell me that somebody followed them. I had a woman tell me, a friend of mine tell me, that her mother was accosted by a white man at a grocery store 2 years ago for saying, "You don't pass me, nigga. You wait behind me." They don't want you to pass. Just yesterday, a man was in the left lane blocking me, and he was holding a whole line of traffic behind him. I went around him the moment I got a chance, and he got behind me. And when I made my turn, he honked his horn. Now, it was a ton of people that passed him because he was blocking the fast lane. It wasn't just me, but he was upset with me for passing him. So that's that mindset that they have. And I want you to imagine this. The haberdashery store, I was in reading up on this. The woman that had the haberdashery store, she couldn't go. You can't go get haberdasheries in the white community. You got to go get them from the Black community. This woman would frequently travel to Paris, Black woman, and pick the clothes and bring it back to America. What do you think that did to the mindset of white people, knowing that this Black woman has been to Paris on numerous occasions and been able to go get these clothes?
Right.
Jealousy, envy.
Yeah.
Jealousy and envy, man.
Big.
Jealousy and envy. And, you know, we were forced to do this segregation, but it's making lemons out of lemonade. You know what I'm saying? Lemonades out of lemons. I said that's the whole thing. Y'all know what I meant.
We got
that's a country saying. I should have enunciated that better, being from the South. That's a
So Isaac, what I've been seeing, you know, guys, I see it in today's economics. I see it in yesterday's economics. It's not just about economics as far as just money, and people having money, but it's about a certain type of people. And like you said, passing somebody, it's not just economics, it's about the power that comes behind it. Us having economic power, as far as, hey, we can do this ourselves. And not only do it ourselves, we can thrive and actually be some type of, you know, not even some type of, be actual competition, whereas though we're touching not only our money, but we're touching their money too, because people, whether we believe it or not, if we are to sell a product, the world will buy.
Right.
Because the world is already buying your products through ideas of other people, you know, different inventions, platforms, whatever case that you may come up in your mind. There's somebody that's done it that's Black, and that idea either was taken from them or pushed aside, reinvent it, and then put back out there. So, you know, I always tell people, I say, if you have an idea, actually put it to the test, because people will buy from you. People will see what you have, and that's going to bring economic power to Black people to understand, like, hey, we have those, we have that option, and I know we all know about the loopholes we have to jump through to attain these things, but that's just the cards that we was dealt. That's what we're fighting for. Marcus, what you say?
Well, no, go ahead and ask a question, because I want to talk about some of the businesses that they own there and how it relates to us and our mission here. But go ahead. What question did you have, Patrick?
Oh yeah, I was going to say, Pat, what you said?
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I actually want to go ahead and move into what you was talking about because that really intrigued me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What's it?
So first of all, I want to say that Tulsa was not the only Black Wall Street.
That's correct.
There were numerous other ones. This was the most famous Wall Street. One of the more success. It wasn't more successful than Tulsa, but one that was pretty close was one in God dang it, it was in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, and a Black woman opened up a bank there. And I want you to think about that. This is the early 1900s, and you're opening up a bank in Richmond, Virginia. And that community started based off of agriculture, and Richmond, Virginia happened to have agriculture and what do you call it? Industry there as well. And those people pooled their resources together and formed their own particular community as well. And so they've had banking and they had insurance. And what Black Wall Street in Tulsa had was also banking and insurance. As a matter of fact, it was such an important part of their life there. They actually believed very, very strongly in that. So they believed in having protection. The problem is, though, that they didn't have that. The insurance companies wouldn't honor that protection over their lives. In other words, I think the official death toll for Tulsa was 37. That's what the newspapers reported. And then they systematically took out everything that happened regarding that. So they had to rebuild on their own. They weren't able to use the tools and resources that they had so strongly believed in. So, you set up banking, you set up protection, which, is the foundation of our platform here at WSB, but white people didn't honor that. Not at all. And that's an absolute shame, man. I mean, you go about the American dream. Let me ask y'all, think that could happen today? Something like that happened today? Do you think our protection will be ignored?
To be honest, can you say that a question again? Because I got what you said, but I want to answer it in the way that you asked me the question. So
I'm saying these people believed in our foundation that we have here at WSB, which is protection, debt management, the whole nine. They believed in all of that, and they had companies to support that. But after the riot, even though they had paid premiums and all that type of stuff. So as an example, let me pull up my facts here. There were 40 Black Tulsa or Greenwood district was 40 blocks. They had insurance on those 40 blocks. 35 blocks were burned. There were 1,256 homes destroyed, which at the time was worth $2 million. And today's estimates, that's $35 million worth of homes that were destroyed in that 35 block period. When they went to rebuild, the insurance companies did not help them, though they were paying premiums. I'm asking, do you think something like that could happen today? I.e., it wouldn't be as blatant, obviously, with technology, what have you, but do you think, like, if something like that would have happened, they would try to find a way to keep that payment from happening?
I believe that nowadays, just because of social media and it getting out there, the insurance companies would lose more by not paying out than they would not paying out. So I believe that they would actually pay out because of the scrutiny that they would get off of that would be detrimental to their company, I believe, just because of the atmosphere that we live in today. Like, and I think that's why.
So do y'all know what happened at Move in Philadelphia? The Move organization in Philadelphia?
What happened with them?
In Philadelphia, this was in the late 70s, early 80s, I can't remember which, but a town in Philadelphia, Black people were actually, what type of organization? They were a nationalist organization. They believed in Black self-sufficiency like we believe in Black self-sufficiency. They had their own neighborhood. Really, it was just a block. They had one block where all of these people in the MOVE organization lived. The police came there, wanted to see him. As always, they didn't believe they should be self-sufficient, and they dropped bombs from helicopters on them. And because it was deemed that they were dealing with criminal activity, there was no insurance on it. So my thing is with this Black Lives Matter movement, you know, we're always saying that we're protesting, but they're always saying that we're rioting. If something like that were to happen, do you feel like just because of how they named it, we could be denied? First of all, we got to change our mindset to have insurance. But let's say that we did. Do you think something like that can happen today?
No, I don't think it would happen. I don't think it would happen.
Me personally, Isaac, after everything we done seen this past year, everything that my grandparents and mentors and older people have talked to me about, the things that's happened, a lot of it is not documented. So I do believe that they would try it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't me myself as a person, this is my personal experience, just thinking about it, it's nothing that this government will not try. I've been seeing like if it's too abrasive, whereas though like the majority of people that live here will be against it, I think that they do certain things in order to make sure the agenda still gets accomplished, in order to weaken people's standpoints, people's values, in order to achieve their ultimate goal. So like, just like the vaccines right now, a lot of people would be against vaccines, but what happens? All right, if I keep you in the house for a year, say that you can't work, say you can't travel without getting this thing, then people are more apt like, all right, I might get it, because I don't want to live a life where I feel like I'm trapped in a cage. If this is a way out, then some people may say, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the vaccine. But just like if the vaccine was to come out and no coronavirus was ever happening, right? And they said, hey, here's a vaccine for this new disease that's about to come out. Would a lot of people get it? If people wasn't dying from it, would a lot of people get it? No.
What's up, Trevor?
What's up, Trevor?
What's going on, Trevor?
Hey,
Welcome,
hey,
man.
fellas.
Hey,
I apologize for my late arrival. I had a couple flight issues and bag issues, but I'm here now. So I'm ready to join the discussion. So bring up to speed.
Brother, first of all, I'm upset with the airline because we're used to you dressing sharp. So I know you pulled in with your casual dress. I don't see the fresh tie. I don't see none of that. So when you call the airlines to complain, you need to go in and get some extra compensation because they didn't allow you to be sharp as you usually are on the program. Yeah. So get that extra compensation, brother.
Let me tell you something. They took care of me, so I can't complain. So
they took care of you. All right. As long as they took care of you.
Yeah.
So, brother, as you know, we're dealing with the Tulsa, the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa, and we actually about to get into. We want to stay on schedule. We want to get into actually what happened, but we've been dealing with the wealth of Tulsa, what they had. So, you know, they had banks and hospitals, and they had, because they didn't have any other choice. So they had to provide these things for themselves. And I was talking about, even though they believed in our foundation, which is, you know, having protection and debt management, emergency funds and all of that type of stuff, they didn't, all of those institutions failed them in 1921. There were 40 blocks of Black Wall Street, 35 of which were burned. $2 million worth of property, which is estimated to be about $35 million in today's time. So we're just going, you know, and then not to just mention the tremendous legacy of wealth that could have been passed down from generation to generation.
You know, I was just about to say that. I was about to say, could you imagine what 100 years of that could have created for that? That could have been a game. The reason why they destroyed that place is because, for one, it was too strong. Okay, and it had only one way to go, and that was up. Okay.
Right.
The amount of people that it would have empowered, all right, empowered, it would probably change the course of Black history in this country if that place was still around today. Okay. Let's not look at what they created, right? Because all of that went under the radar. All of that went here. There's not a lot of people that know about Black Wall Street. Okay.
Well,
Can you
hold on now.
imagine
Booker
if
T.
that place
Washington. Booker T. Washington, though, was the one that named it that. And people were, in the last year or so, people were starting to flock to Tulsa because of Booker T. Washington's talk about how wealthy they were.
Yeah, I'm talking about what if it was around still today?
My bad.
The
I got
word
you.
would have been probably global.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably global.
Yeah.
Okay. And it would have been a game changer for our culture and its country. All right. And it would have been a major hiccup in the powers that be as far as what agenda they wanted to push.
Yeah.
All right. So creating that. So what happened to them was more than just a tragedy for them. Okay. It was a tragedy for us, for those that follow, because that could have been a strong, not even a message, but a strong reality check for people to say, hey, if they can do it, okay, we can do it. And here's the example of that. So the message that was stolen from us, okay, I believe a lot went down in that tragedy. Okay, so many opportunities, so much growth, education, so many things was robbed from us again. Okay, when that tragedy happened, because that could have been a foundation in America of where we as a culture could go to and look to and say, okay, how can we establish what was established here 100 years ago? All right, because that thing, I'm telling you, that thing, if that was still around today, it would be a major power move in this country that would have made a lot of people upset.
Let me say this before we move on. So I automatically knew about Black Wall Street. My mother and father taught me about it. But before you came on, we were just discussing that there were other numerous Black Wall Streets. None as big as Tulsa, but the second biggest one was in Richmond, Virginia. You know how it got destroyed? Redlining, lack of funding. In other words, once they started to grow, lack of funding. And they said the ultimate, even though it hung on until the 60s, the ultimate death knell was desegregation. Because at that point, Black people quit going to do business with Black people and started doing business with white people. I wonder, even though Tulsa had all of that stuff self-contained, would they been able to have survived the desegregation part of it? Because you're still dealing with Black people that's living in the segregated
That's a great
South
point.
that now want to start going to get the white man's ice because it's colder, his water is wetter.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
You know, so we don't know
because
that.
a lot of that had to do with, most people, Black people back in those days, they just wanted to be treated equal, and being equal meant I wanted to go where the white people go and either, patronize their places or their food, their restaurant, and all that. But I think the message is lost when people hear us say we should keep everything Black. All right, they probably hear us. What they probably hear is keep it Black and don't do anything else. Right? That's not what I'm saying when I say it. Okay, I'm saying when I say keep it Black, I'm saying this: if you're going to shop, if you're going to buy, if you're going to go, if there's something that you need, okay, why don't we see if a Black owner, okay, or a Black business has that service first? Okay, first, and then from there, once you take your home first, okay, then you can go do what you want to do. Right, take your home first, okay, and that type of message can only be passed on through paradigms and cultural exchange as far as what the kids are being taught, because it's not about just having the ability to go and shop somewhere else. Okay,
Right.
it's having the ability to shop where we take care of home first. Okay, and then if you do, chances are you may not want to go nowhere else.
Right.
Especially if your needs are being met.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Trevor, I was gonna say before we move on, brother, think about this. When we do stuff on our own, it ends up being better anyway. I mean, look at who they get to advertise everything that's going on in the world. Shaq endorses everything on the face of the planet, I think, from insurance to Icy Hot to Cheerios. I mean, anything that's being advertised, Shaquille O'Neal is doing it. You got a sister named Tabitha that just because she's sincere, she goes out and recommends stuff and people go and buy it. It's people that, so if we just, as you said, Trevor, keep it in-house, we will be the standard bearers. We will be the standard bearers. We won't have to go anywhere else.
We are.
Because when we do it, we don't top anyway. We're already on top. We already are.
We are, because look at commercials, okay? Look at commercials, all right? Every in trend that we created, okay, as soon as it became widespread, that's when, like, perfect example, I saw a commercial, I think it was like yesterday, where someone was doing the fist pound, okay? That's us.
Right.
All right, we created that. Okay, look how many cultural movements we create as far as our entertainment, as far as our slang, our language, as far as what we do with I mean, everyone now is fist pounding because of COVID. Guess what? We've been doing that shit since 1960s. Fist pounding. Right. Okay, it's what we do. Yeah. What we do. But now that it's a code. Now fist pounding and elbowing, that's all cool. We've been made that cool. Right. Everyone knows that we lead the way when it comes to social acceptance. If we do it enough, if what we do, as soon as the white kids want to do it and they do it, that's when it becomes okay to do.
Yeah. So guys, I knew we were gonna get fired up on this topic. So I wanted, we're behind, so let's get into actually what happened, what actually started it. So Dick Rowland, 19-year-old, is on the elevator with a white girl, 17-year-old named Sarah Page. And witnesses say that both of them ran off the elevator. What Sarah Page and Dick Rowland's family say is that those two were lovers. And Sarah Page refused to file charges against him. So instead of the Tulsa Examiner or whatever that thing was called, that a black man and a white woman, that's crazy news. That's like, oh my God, what's happening? And the fact that the white girl, 17, was willing to stand up for her man at that time was completely unacceptable. So what they reported was that he assaulted her. She wasn't raped, but she was assaulted. He was immediately arrested. Yep. And there was a mob that came outside. Now you've got black men. Here's what so I'm not trying to be racist. Right. But the most dangerous thing historically to black men is the white woman. I'm not saying that white women go out and kill us. What I'm saying is whatever relationship we have had with white women has been dangerous to our survival. And should Dick have known in 1921 he shouldn't be messing with a white woman, clearly he should have known that. And in looking back in retrospect, I guess he would be like, man, I should have left her alone. But what put fuel to the fire, of course, was the Tulsa Examiner, whatever the name of the newspaper was, saying that a deranged black man had attacked a white girl. And then what set white people off more than that was that black men, not cowards, men came down to the courthouse to defend their brother and make sure he didn't get lynched. That infuriated them more than anything because they wanted to know who gave you courage. What they didn't realize was that most of those men were World War I veterans. And if you're gonna die for a freedom that you don't have in Germany, I'm damn sure gonna die for my brother right here, making sure that he don't get lynched. That's what happens when you travel the world, you become a soldier, and you're like, listen, that ain't finna happen. Somebody tried to grab one of the brother's guns, and he shot him, and all hell broke loose from that point on. So I don't know what was worse for them, the fact that the black man had an affair with a white girl and she loved it, or the fact that the black man stood up for himself, because that seemed to be the powder keg that kicked him over. You know what I'm saying?
It could have been both. And he said something very, very powerful there, Isaac. You know, that what you said was, you know, all these black men showed up at the court, and the message or the question was, who empowered you? Who empowered you? Okay, who empowered you? And I mentioned this on a previous show where J. Edgar Hoover was asked, you know, what is the biggest threat to America? And he said plainly, okay, if the Negroes unite. If the Negroes unite, okay, that is the greatest threat to America, or at least the American ideals, okay, of what people don't know about, okay? Because let me tell you something. If we unite in America, it ain't gonna make America bad, okay? It'll put a thorn in the side of people that have a different viewpoint as far as America and where we stand with it, okay? And where we are with it, right? They don't want us to be a part of anything outside of begging and asking, okay? They don't want us to have a voice as far as, you know what do the Negroes think, okay? I mean, hell, when do we get asked what we want?
Not at all.
Never.
When? The only time we're asked is when they ask us how much handout do y'all want.
Right.
But that's the only time we're asked anything. Okay.
Right.
And I'm sick and tired of the mentality of black folk. And I'm sorry, it ain't going nowhere. Okay. Out of all the examples we have in America of black excellence, okay, and we're still dealing with this shit. How many people gotta die?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, black people, let me tell you something, black people, stop walking around here as if you had the right to do what you do. You do not. Because let me tell you something. What did you give up to do what you do? Nothing. Okay. There is someone that you would never meet that gave up their life. All right, to give you the privilege to do what you do today, to include, put your head in the stand. Someone died to give you that right. And we walk right here too damn much as if it's our right to do anything. It ain't our right to do shit. Because what did you do? Did you die? Did you get sprayed with freaking a water hose, bit by dogs, left by neck? What did you give up to say it's your right to do what? Nothing. Someone you would never meet died for you. They gave it up for you. And guess what? They will never see the opportunity that you get. That pisses me off.
Trevor, you know, it's so many people, brother, talking about Black Wall Street today and are not trying to emulate Black Wall Street at all.
Yeah.
They on Instagram,
No.
Black Wall Street, peace out, hundreds, we need to change, whatever. And then they go about doing the exact opposite of everything that Black Wall Street stood for.
Right.
Exactly what you said. What have you done? Well, I posted on Instagram. And I gave a shout out to, what did that do? You know, people think in today's society, we think posting on Instagram and Facebook is actually doing something. And that's absolutely crazy. But my whole point is, man, brother, you're absolutely right, bro. Absolutely right. We are out here standing on the shoulders of our ancestors who gave, and the thing about it, man,
yes,
those people, not only we stand on their shoulders, they don't even have proper burial. I was looking at the thing today that we're talking about this. There were mass graves of hundreds of Black people, these Tulsans, just, they don't have any honor at all. and people don't even want to go and bury them properly and all that type of stuff. And then if we can't even do that basic thing, which is bury them properly, you think we're gonna try to live our life like they were trying to live? You think we're gonna be unified? I mean, we have literally got our work out. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm actually thankful for Donald Trump and him waking everybody up on his side of the aisle, because otherwise, man, people would still be, we'd have more people sleep than it is right now. Way more people sleep than it is right now.
Oh yeah. Oh
Way
yeah.
more people
Oh
sleep.
yeah. I mean, people don't even know when the first flame was lit on Black Wall Street. Right? I know when it was lit. So I studied this shit, you know, because I have respect for people that gave up the ultimate to give me the privilege to be where I'm at and do what I do. And I see too many, and you know what? We can't blame most of them, okay? Because too many people are just you know, vomiting, you know, what was told to them. But I'm sorry. We live in if we live in an age now where you can find out way too much shit in way too short of a time. Mm-hmm. Okay. The fact of I didn't know don't work no more. Okay. The message, the excuse of I didn't know, I wasn't told, that don't work no more. Okay. If you can find out when the first damn single is being released on a fucking album, they ain't gonna be dropped yet. You gonna learn some other shit, right? Okay. The stuff that we focus on and then get mad about, okay, and people are the ones that want to come at me saying I'm talking too harsh about our black folks. Well, you know what? Somebody got to, because you sure hell ain't. Somebody got to. You know how much our ignorance embarrasses ourselves because we are not ignorant people.
Right.
We are smart people. Okay, let me tell you something. The devil don't attack you if you ain't wealthy. If you broke, he don't want you.
He
don't want you. Okay, the devil don't rob people that are broke.
But Trevor, you mentioned something. You said we are not ignorant people, but we are fearful. We are a fearful people.
Very fearful.
We are scared to, number one, go out and work for ourselves. Number two, we're scared to piss other people off. And we're scared. My father ran for mayor of Fort Valley a long time ago when he was young. And then he said, forget it. We want to annex Fort Valley off from the rest of Fort Valley. We were literally split by a railroad track. We had Fort Valley State University. We had nothing but professors and highly educated people on our side of the track. And my father was like, let's annex ourselves away and become our own separate city. Do you know what the people told my father? They said, that means we will have to govern ourselves. And my father said, excuse the language, you motherfucking right. That's literally what he was like, that's the point. We are not getting what we need from the city of Fort Valley. We're not getting it. They police brutality, all of it, and that's a small country town. Govern ourselves, become our own. And people are like, that means we have to separate from white people. Yes, that's the point. That's what we're trying to do. We're educated over here. They are not. We've got the most education over here. They are not. We can do the best for our children over here. They can't. Why would listen, man? At 3 years old, I knew how to divide and do multiplication. At 3. At 3. Because I was sent to a private school of Africans that were professors. So at 3 years old, I knew how to. So my mother made the choice, just to show you what happens. She made the choice to go on and put me in public school. By the time I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I forgot all of that stuff. I had to redo it all over again. But my mother kept me. She kept all of my tests and my papers and all of that type of stuff. And she was like, yo, this is what you were doing at 3 years of age.
Yeah. So Terrence just said that in the chat, he chatted separation is the key to success. And I believe what you're saying, Terrence. What I want to get across is the unity of us will automatically separate us from other groups and communities.
Yeah.
When Asian communities come over to, the Asian community came over to America, it wasn't that they was separating themselves from white people. It was that they was unified.
You muted yourself, Patrick.
They already were in a class for themselves, and they built it together, just like we talk about how Pleasant Hill is like that, and how the Indians come over to America and they buy their own, they buy within their community. The Jewish community buy within. So it's not necessarily that we separate from white people and say, oh, we can handle ourselves. We have to come together to unite in the system, and the system will change. It will conform because it has no choice.
Yes. Yes. You can't. You're right, Patrick. You can't change. Okay, change does not occur from the outside in. Okay, it occurs from the inside out. All right. It goes back to when people say no one will take care of your business better than you. Okay, it's the same thing. No one will empower us better than us. Right? If we don't come together in all facets, education, business, okay, agriculture, right? All that stuff. Okay, it starts from within. If we want to see our outside results change, we got to come together and change within, okay? And the outside has to be forced to change. It has no choice but to that. We cannot change other people to let me tell you something. The problem with Black people is that they actually believe that there are people in the world of other color that think the way that we think. Bullshit. Okay? Let me tell you something. The second, here is the surefire way to lose a negotiation, okay? A surefire way, right? If you think the other person on the other side of the table of you thinks like you, okay? You already done lost, right? If you think that person, all right, across from you thinks the way that you think, you already lost. Right. And that's the problem. Right. That's the problem. Don't think everyone likes us. Don't think everyone wants what's best for us. They may like us, okay? They may be cool with us, right? But guess what? They don't want the best for us because in their eyes, the best for us is less for them.
That's facts.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and listen, man, and so I told y'all this on a production meeting in the beginning of May, maybe it was end of April, I don't know, but y'all remember I told you that we were on a production meeting, I was getting my oil changed. And this brother told me, it was right down the street from the juice bar, as a matter of fact, not far from Tanisha. And this brother said, I just bought this gas station, this oil change, it was Express Lube. He became, he's a franchise owner of an Express Lube. And he asked me to post. He said, you appreciate the service? I said, yeah, man, it's been great. He said, my business has been suffering. I said, well, why? He says, because in this area, it's a lot of Asian people. And the moment the Asian community found out that I was here, this used to be owned by a white man. They didn't mind giving their money to the white man. But the moment they found out that I owned it and I took over, the word went out and they quit coming here. They don't have our best interests at heart. What was it about this Black man owning an Express Loop? I ain't seen no Asians Express Loop. I seen all type of Asian stores, but I damn sure ain't seen an Asian Express Loop. What is it about that Black man doing something for self that pissed off a community of Asians that have been going there for years to get their oil changed? They didn't even want to give them a chance. They don't want to, because they know when we wake up, where their business is at. Their business is all in our community. They're selling us shrimp, crabs, and they're definitely selling us hair. They're selling us a ton of hair. So the moment we start doing for self, that means the money starts coming out their pocket. Yeah. The first thing I did was tell that man, I'm coming back here immediately. I don't live nowhere near you, but I'm coming right back to here the next time I need my oil change. And on top of that, I'm posting about you every damn chance I get. We got to be like that. We have to be like that. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, when I see something, And I'm like, you know what? I go into a spot and I realize they could be the sweetest Asians on the face of the planet. But I have to view this as a negotiation. I'm like, all right, you know what? You don't negotiate with me. I don't negotiate with you. It's time for me to go on and try to find somebody else. Right. If the neutral ground is the white man, we're going to find this neutral ground. But I'm not, if you viewing me as an enemy, you a fool, Trevor, not to view that other person as an enemy.
Isaac, man, Isaac, let me tell you something, Isaac. And I ain't lying, okay? I do a ton of IUL business, okay? Right? And let me tell you something. Don't lie. Every single white person I've shown the IUL to, guess how many times I got to show it to them and they sign up?
One time.
Once. One time.
One time.
Every single black person I show it to, okay? The third time at least, at least, yes, I got to convince them. So guess what? I'm stopping.
Yeah.
I'm stopping.
Yeah.
I'm stopping. Okay. If you black watching this show and you call me up for IUL, just know this. The first time I call you, get ready to stroke that check. Because for some reason, white people get it, but y'all don't. But y'all, but it ain't wondering why y'all like it.
It's you black, Trevor. It's you black,
I'm
Trevor.
Sorry. Yeah,
you black,
I'm
Trevor.
That.
You gotta turn into a Caucasian. Listen, I got friends that know me for 51 years to have to go ask a white man. Like, why would I lie to you? Why would I lie to you? Right. You are my friend. Serious? I absolutely love you. Why would I tell you something that's not good for you?
The thing about it is I feel that, the agenda has been worked at all times. Like, people's minds have already inverted that you don't want to trust somebody because we've been duped all the time. And then if it's a black person saying it, then maybe he's just trying to get over. And the thing about it is we face the same thing. We're facing the same opposition. And we're dealing with the same struggles. So it's like, I get where you're coming from, Trevor, but you can't give up. You gotta keep
right. That's what I I ain't give up.
But hold up. Let me help Trevor out here. Listen, Trevor, these same friends I'm talking to, right? So I used to, before I got back into insurance, I used to work for a steamship line, right? And one of our customers on this steamship line was Victoria's Secrets, right? So they had this warehouse that they would go to, and I found out about it, and I bought $30, $40 like panty and bra sets for like $2, and I would sell them to my friends for $5. So I would say, listen, I just got some stuff from Victoria's Secrets. I have a whole bag of stuff. Like, I would just order this stuff, and I'm like, I got panties and drawers for $5 from Victoria's Secrets. Man, them things didn't last. If I got 50 sets in, they'd be gone in 2 days. And I wouldn't charge but $5, sometimes 10. It was gone immediately. But you let me talk to somebody about saving your future. You let me talk to somebody about investing in your future and retirement. Man, you're gonna have to talk to me again. Now, so say that again now. How is this going? I mean, they just I can sell you panties, but I can't sell you insurance to save your life and protect your family.
Exactly.
I'm the same dude. I'm literally the same dude.
Exactly.
So what's the message, or financial literacy wise, what action item could we kind of?
Thank you for bringing us back on, brother, because we about to.
It's all good. Look, what action
item you don't get me going.
To kind of duplicate Black Wall Street, but for today, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
it takes Black people that speak the same language and have the same vision, okay, to come together and there has to be a outcome that can be achieved, rather quickly, okay. Not saying the big outcome has to be achieved quickly, but little small steps towards it, right? And it begins at home. It begins in your household first, okay? Because I'm telling you, once you start to change your household's outlook, okay, you have no choice now but to expand beyond that. Okay, and beyond that now is your neighbor, your other black neighbor. Okay, beyond that now is your other black neighbor's business. Okay, or your black neighbor's service. All right, it begins there. Take your home first. We are home. Take your home first. Take your home in a micro fashion and a macro fashion.
Nice.
Those of you that don't know, micro means individual and macro means what? Society.
For sure. For sure.
So I wanna ask the audience and everybody that's on the panel today. And this is a pretty easy question, but why is it that you think that the leaders that we've had in our past that either talked about unity or talked about fighting the oppression has been assassinated? Why is wealthy communities being bombed? Why do you feel like you can't get a good loan at the bank, even if you have a good job and good credit? Why is there redlining? It's a system.
Listen, pal, let me stop you real quick.
I get
a whole
BLACK. That's why.
Yeah, but understand that what we talking about is a group of people, and not just white people, people in our society. And I always call America a matrix, because what's happening in America is totally obscured compared to what's going on the rest of the world. You know, so if they're doing that, and you're seeing this oppression from different areas, and you're seeing these loopholes and different barriers from you, understand that you might think about, let me give a better example. There's many different horses in the world: zebras, horses, thoroughbred, different type of horses. With Black people, I feel that we look at, if we're a zebra, we'll look at a thoroughbred horse and we'll want to run with them instead of running with the zebras. Not saying that we're not the same and we can't do business over there, but we won't run with our own people and believe in that.
Well, Patrick,
For some odd reason, it may be fear. It may be fear. It may be something happened where they actually opened up that trust door and then it was broken. But it has to come back around some way, somehow, and it has to. We have to see it happening.
Well,
Now,
Pat, let me answer part of that question like this. Number one, when it comes to why we rejected Black leaders, the same reason Trevor can't sell an IUL to Black people without explaining it 3 or 4 times.
Right.
You know, we don't believe the truth when it comes to us. You know, the scripture says a prophet is respected in every land except his own. But as far as the vehicle, you just mentioned the thoroughbred. The thoroughbred is our platform here at WSB.
that's correct.
That is a proven system. And literally, all you got to do is look at the Asian community and what they've done with the same exact program. The only difference is they've got a knowledge of self and they have always had unity, where we have been separated and don't have a knowledge of self, and we have been taught to be individualistic. So all we got to do is do that same platform from a unified mindset, and we'll be, financially speaking at least, we'll be on that same, we'll be running with thoroughbreds. That's literally the bottom line, the WSB platform. What was that, Trevor?
You want to know what I learned about why the Asians and the Indians push WSB so hard? Okay, these past few days I've been really studying Transamerica, or Transamerica and WSB and everyone else that we do business with as WSB. Here's why: WSB is favored in so many ways. Okay, way beyond just the only company that does DocuSign. Okay, let me tell you something. Every other agent, every other company that writes business with WS or with Transamerica, okay? Just talk about renewals. Do you know what renewals are with everyone else? 1.5%, right? Okay. I don't think most of y'all on this call know what your renewals are with Transamerica through WSB. Let me tell you something. It's way more than 1.5%.
Yeah.
All right. There is so much things that was leveraged for our behalf as WSB that I now see why they push as hard they do, because you can try and break off and go individual and sell with Transamerica by yourself. But let me tell you something. You're gonna lose a lot of damn money up front and beyond that. All right. I'm learning a whole lot of shit about the platform I'm pushing and the producer that I'm pushing. And I'm seeing why WSB is so favored, because I'm telling you, learn y'all stuff. Learn what okay, why does WSB get to do what they do? And you're gonna learn real quickly is because they know that we are getting the message out there to people, and we're favored as far as how we get paid, okay, and how much we get paid, and for how long we get paid, and it improves per the product as well. So they know something that most of us don't want to know or don't know to ask or learn. Trust me, I've made a lot of phone calls this weekend, okay, to learn about what I'm pushing and why. Because I'm pushing too hard, and I want to make sure that I'm pushing into a place that everyone benefits, right? And we have the culture. We don't want to educate ourselves on what we're doing or what we're a part of, and we don't want to trust people that are doing it or a part of it. And it begins there. If you do not want your intelligence to be insulted, learn some shit.
Education.
Learn why things are happening. Okay. Stop worrying about what. Okay. And start worrying about why. Because the why creates the what. The why creates the what, and it creates the how. Okay. We focus too much on the what. Screw the what. Because the what makes no sense if you have no clue about the why.
Indeed.
Start there.
Well, brothers, man, to be honest, we probably should have pushed this show. We should have made this show an hour and a half,
Right.
because I knew it was no way to do it. It's really, man, it's no way to do justice to the financial history, the lives that were sacrificed, and then what's going forward in the future. Even if we did an hour and a half, 2 hours, I mean, really the full impact, man, is just heavy. These people were able to do something that really has not been done, with the exception, I would say, of the Nation of Islam in the 60s and 70s, with the unity there, but that's a religious organization. That's, part of what I belong to. But as far as just Black people in general, and even at that, just so I could toot our own horn a little bit, hell, we had hospital, school. This was all across the nation that we encouraged Black people to come and do. And, the Black Wall Street had done it first, though. Black Wall Street had done it first.
Yeah.
And so we were emulating what we'd certainly seen there. And the fact that they were, they weren't the only one, but they were certainly the ones that did it the best. There's no way we could do enough justice to it. And I certainly, if I drank liquor, I pour out some for my people or what have you.
Yeah.
But I absolutely, man, we can't do justice for it in this amount of time. Do y'all have any closing things you want to say?
I got something to close with. I want to tell people this, man. When it comes to how we are and who we are, okay, I want us to stop walking around here as if we actually have the right to do or say what we do, okay? Because we really don't. All right. Every second we spend on this earth is an homage to someone that died, all right, to give us the privilege of driving a car, wearing regular clothes, living in a house, having a job, being able to vote, being able to go and all the things we do. Understand, we couldn't do it less than 100 years ago. Okay, all right, and we gotta stop walking around as if we done something or did something to do the things that we do. We did not. All right, and how are we paying homage to those that actually gave up their lives to give us the privilege? How are we paying homage? Are we cowering down? Okay, are we acting entitled? All right, or are we being fearless and courageous? Are we taking advantage of our education? Okay, there's too much free education out there all over the world, to include what we offer at WSB.
Right.
You ain't gotta give nothing up.
Yeah.
Okay, you ain't gotta give nothing up. Just some time, and guess what? Someone that you would never meet died to give you the time to smoke weed all damn day. Okay, do something better with that.
For sure.
That's all I want to say.
For sure.
How about you guys? Patrick, Mark?
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah.
Marcus, go ahead. You can go ahead. I'm on. Kevin, let me go, because you the presenter, and you gonna close us out. I'm gonna let Marcus close us out, guys.
That works.
All right. So with talking about Black Wall Street and talking about WSB and what they have out now, and the organizations that are out right now that's empowering our community, I urge you to actually do some research, get involved, apply, like how Trevor said, apply it to yourself first, because before you can help change others around you, you have to change yourself. We all here on the force of the Fathers and Finance that actually took a look into our personal finances and able to learn the system so that we can push it and educate our communities. So let's do Black Wall Street again. Let's make it happen again. We can do it. It's already being done. Be part of history. Be part of changing your family's lives, changing your community's life. Meet your neighbors. Do business with your neighbors. Find out where the Black owners are, because they are out here and they are hustling. They're working hard. So you get around those people to start something for yourself and help contribute to their business as well. So keep that dollar in our community. And I'm gonna pass it to Marcus. Marcus, what are your final remarks?
Yeah. Guys, we have to get rid of the fear of elevating ourselves and, to become successful in our own ways, because, we've seen the greats that have made a major change, they've either got assassinated or, something real bad happened. And so we got to erase that fear, you know what I mean? Even though that, that was the end result for them, it's 2021. We have to make that difference. We absolutely have to make that difference. And I feel like Fathers of Finance, we have to be, if you guys didn't tune in, if you guys missed me early in the show when we first started, how Black Wall Street is started with Mr. OW, Ottawa Gurley. His middle initial.
Good job, Marcus, yeah. My man.
Research. Yeah, he was one of the guys who spearheaded the Black Wall Street. Yeah, I know Isaac had mentioned about the Native Americans, but Mr. Ottawa OW, he purchased 40 acres when he moved from Arkansas. So he definitely was, a big part of the.
And only sold to Black owners. Only sold to Black owners.
That's it. He was, part of one of two. The other guy was Mr. John the Baptist and JB. And I explained to y'all why they went by initials instead of their first name. Because, back then that was demeaning or degrading for, for them to disrespect the white people, to disrespect us. Because they'll call us by the boys, they'll call by the first name. And, the men, it'll be their surname. And it just showed, they wanted to, again, J-Dub and Ottawa, they wanted to kind of brush off that, or don't come across the racial tension with that. That's why they just went by their initials. But those guys, we are those guys. You know what I mean? We are, me, Trevor, Patrick, Isaac. We are those two guys that started Black Wall Street. And that's what we're here to just impact the community, educate you guys as much as possible on these great financial literacy concepts and just overall information. You have to apply it to yourself and you can make it happen. Always remember, applied knowledge it has the real power, not just gaining the knowledge. You can know all you want. If you're not applying, you might as well not even have the knowledge, for sure. So we'll wrap it up there. We went over. Look, I agree, Isaac. We should have went an hour and a half, but yeah. So we'll see you guys again next week.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great one.